Hi Year 6, this is your Thursday maths lesson, Thursday the 21st of January, and we're still thinking about ordering and comparing fractions. So some of you might have got onto this challenge task yesterday, but I would think a lot of you didn't, so I'm going to give you a little bit more help in how you might compare and order fractions. So three fractions here. I have got 3/4, 2/3 and 1/6. Now, even I could not compare or order these with the denominators all different like that. That's very tricky. Mrs. Stubbs might be able to.
Well, I think though I would still check by finding a denominator that's common to all of them.
So that's what we need to do. We need to look at our denominators. So here I've got a 4, I've got a 3, and I've got a 6. So I want to think about which times tables I can use to help me here. So trying to think of a number that appears in those times tables. Let's have a think. Wow, I know that 4 times 3 is 12. Oh, and 2 times 6 is 12. Let's go with 12. Okay, so I'm going to use 12 as my denominator. So I'm going to start with my 3/4. What do I multiply 4 by to get to 12? Well, I've just worked it out that 4 times 3 is 12, so I need to do the same to the numerator. As long as you do the same to both the numerator and the denominator, you will get an equivalent fraction. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. So actually I know that 3/4 is the same as or equivalent to 9/12. Brilliant. So I already know, because I've worked it out, that I'm going to use 12 as my common denominator for all of my fractions so that I can then compare them more easily. So 3, well, I know that 4 times 3 was 12, so 3 times 4 must be 12. Do the same to the numerator. 2 times 4 is 8, so I know that 2/3 is equivalent to 8/12. Okay, I'm going to roll here. So, double 6 is 12, so that's times 2. 6 times 2 is 12. Need to do the same to the numerator. Here we go. 1 times 2, 2/12. Oh, brilliant. Look at that. So much easier now to compare and then to order these fractions. So I can see clearly that actually 2/12 is the smallest, followed by 8/12. 9/12 is the largest. But when I write it out, I'm going to write out my original fractions. I'm going to start with my 1/6. I'm doing it in ascending order, smallest first. 1/6. I know that then 2/3 is larger and 3/4 is the largest. And I'm going to use my greedy crocodile to be always eating the largest fractions. And there we go. I have compared and then ordered my 3 fractions by making the denominators the same. So if you freeze on this activity over here, freeze the screen, I'd like you to do the same with this set of fractions here. And if you did do this yesterday, if you were challenging yourself, Mrs. Stubbs will now give you a challenge to have a go at today.
Okay, so if you are feeling confident with your ordering of fractions, you could have a little go at these challenges. So again, we are going to use equivalent fractions and finding common denominators to help us solve these problems. So I'll start with this set of questions. You need to find a fraction which lies between these numbers. Now, I'm not going to do those, but I will do a different one here. So imagine your 2 fractions were, I don't know, let's say 1/3 and 3/4. And I want to find any fraction that might come between those. If you position them on a number line, what fraction might come somewhere between those 2 fractions? Now, again, the way to do this is to find equivalent fractions. Now, let's have a little look. Can you think of a common denominator? Hopefully you're getting used to that term now. Right, well, 3 and 4, it's got to be a number in the 3 times table and the 4 times table. I think it's going to be 12. All right, so I'm going through this quite quickly now. So let's write my equivalent fractions. So here, let's have a little look. Right, that has been times by 4. So do the same to the top. That'd be 4/12. Have have a look here. It's been times by 3. Let's do the same to the numerator here. 9/12. Can you think of any fractions between 4/12 and 9/12? Well, I'm sure you can. You could have a choice here. 5/12, 6/12, which is obviously a half, 7/12, or 8/12, etc. All right, so that's the first group of questions. You've got 4 different pairs of fractions there. Can you find any fraction, or if you can find all of them, great, but any fraction that lies between those numbers here, those fractions there. The next set of challenges is slightly harder. You've got to find the fraction which lies halfway between. Now again, you can use the same method, make your denominators the same. If that doesn't work, you can try a different denominator. It might be that it's not the lowest common denominator. All right, but can you find the fraction that's midway, halfway between these pairs of fractions? And remember that 1 whole, it might be that it's 2 halves or 4 quarters or 12/12. Remember, that's how you can make that look like a fraction. Okay, and then the super challenge, if you like. This is more of an investigation, really. It's called Explore. It's from one of the books that we use. Okay, how many fractions between 1/3 and 1/2 with denominators less than 20 can you find? Okay, so there's going to be more than one answer here. There might be several answers. So how many can you find? But remember, the denominators have got to be less than 20. These are the denominators you've got at the moment, but remember, to compare them, to order them, you need to make your denominators the same. You need to find a common denominator. Have a go at those 3 challenges and see how you get on, and hopefully we'll have a catch up sometime and see how you did get on. So good luck, everyone.